New Mexico, Bill Richardson. Governor, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
A big first night. What was your reaction?
Well, I was a little concerned about the early disruptions, but I think in the end, Bernie Sanders went with a very strong speech endorsing Hillary, very positive, gracious. I think Michelle Obama, the Obama mantle on Hillary Clinton. I thought, under the circumstances, with the resignation of the national chairman, it was a good first night, but there was disruption. And how can you have a Democratic convention without a little disruption and action and controversy?
Let me ask you, because this is something that we've been talking about all week, the fact that we haven't seen the number of independents out there and undecided voters, this many, for decades at this point. You've got Hillary supporters on one side, you've got Donald Trump supporters on the other. What do you think they need to say this week, this party, all of these speakers, to actually lure in that independent?
Well, first, I think Hillary has to make a very strong case with younger voters. Secondly, make sure the Sanders coalition stays with Hillary, and I think it's moving in that direction. And then there's that electorate that for the first time is watching both candidates at conventions. The political junkies and all the shows, they've made up their minds, but there could be 20 million people that have watched both conventions, and the message you want to send to them is pro-family, pro-children. Hillary's got national security background, Secretary of State.
We haven't heard anything about national security so far.
Well, I think you'll hear that the third and fourth days.
Okay.
I think Vice President Biden will be the first one that launches that. But at the same time, I think this is a big selling point of Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State. She knows the conflicts that exist that America's going to face.
Yeah.
Well, and I think my biggest concern for Hillary, if I were advising her, is that enthusiasm doesn't transfer. So the enthusiasm of the young voters that have overwhelmingly supported Bernie Sanders, they're not moving to her camp.
Well,
and so even though they may support her on paper, I don't think it'll be enough to get out the vote.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the evidence suggests,
the only reason
Hillary
that I can
so
imagine that
badly struggled with millennials, and she's beating Trump with them, which I think is astounding and really speaks to the genius of our generation.
That's not surprising
Harlan.
at all. No, that's not surprising
at
all. They would overwhelmingly support her.
Why?
My question is, do they get out to vote?
But look, they're on the streets right now. They're still, protesting. They've got Field of Burn signs all over the place. They're not there yet.
Well, most of them are. If you look at the difference between what's going on in terms of the polls and what activists are doing out here, that's going to be a very different picture. Hillary, she shifted